Hi, I'm Darla LeDoux of Aligned Entrepreneurs, and I work with business owners to create real freedom in their life. That means doing the things they love and the things they want to do when they want to do them. Things like creating, writing, researching, and working with actual people to make an impact on the planet. And one of the things I've seen is there's a lot of information out there. And one of the most important decisions you make in your business is whether you want to work with people live or virtually. Now, it may seem like this virtual thing is the way to do the things you love, right? You get to sit at home in your pajamas and make money while you sleep, while you do the fun and exciting things in your business. And I love that vision. And I want to just spend a minute helping you make the decision whether the virtual is for you or live or in person are more for you. So, as you may know, I am a big fan of hosting small retreats. In a small retreat, you actually get to work with real human beings and watch them transform before your eyes. You get to leverage your time because there's multiple people in the room. And you get to do your best work because you can just show up and really be fully yourself and channel that information that comes best to you. But what about the money? So many retreat leaders don't make any money. So I want to talk a little bit about this in-person option and virtual option for you and your business. So let's say you want to host small retreats. Okay, so this is the retreat model. You have your signature retreat here. What I love about this is you're marketing one thing in your business. You're marketing this retreat. That's it. No confusion. Your signature retreat, you can charge anywhere from $297 to $29.97 or more. Anywhere in this range. It really doesn't matter because it's not where the money is. Okay, so you work on this one signature retreat, and we need to have people in the retreat, right? So let's say you have 10 people attend your signature retreat at any of these price points. Here's the key. After your retreat, if you've done a great job with delivering the right content and making the right offer, people are going to want to continue to work with you. They're going to get a taste of the difference you can really make in their life, and they're going to want to keep you around, right? As their little secret weapon. So from this signature retreat, what you do next is you make an offer for what I call your high-level container of support. We'll just call it a container here. Right? This helps them implement all the things they've just learned and maintain them and really make an impact in their life. This program that you offer, let's just use as an example that you charge $10,000 for that program. Now we'll work on how you are so worth this and more. But let's say you charge $10,000. So you had 10 people in your signature retreat. What I have found is when this strategy is done right, you will easily put 50% of the people in this room into this program. So that means you just brought in 5 high-level clients. So if you have 5 people who are paying you $10,000, what's that payday? What's that payday, right? You just created a $50,000 payday. Now, here's the deal. Where do these people come from, right? So you need 10 people to have 5 private clients. Well, guess what? You actually have conversations with real live human beings. Guess what? You know how to do that. You are naturally charming. It's amazing, right? So you talk with actual people. Conservatively, 1 out of 4 or 25% of those people that you identify and talk with are going to be the right clients for you. So how many people do you have to talk to? How many conversations do you need to have? Well, if 1 in 4 are going to come to your retreat, that means you need 40 conversations in order to make $50,000. Now, where do you find those 40 people? You can network 10 times. okay? I'm a fan of not trying to meet everyone in the room. Meet 4 people at a networking event, okay? Or you can speak in front of 1 group of 40, or 2 groups of 20, or 4 groups of 10, right? So it's easy to find a group of 10, so easy, right? So you can speak maybe 2 times, or you can network 10 times, and you make $50,000. And here's the cool part is you get to be completely yourself. Okay, so let's take a look at the virtual option, because it's so appealing, right? To sit home and watch the money come in your shopping cart, and it's totally possible. And let's just take a look at, if you remember, we just showed you how to make a $50,000 payday hosting 1 small retreat and bringing in 5 high-level clients in a $10,000 program. Now, that could be a year-long program. It could be a 6-month program. You're totally worth it, by the way. Now, let's look at making that same 50K using a virtual program. So I've studied all kinds of experts who teach this stuff, right? And I have my phone here because I may need some help with my math. But let's say you do a typical virtual program is $500 or often $497, right? Or 3 easy payments, blah, blah, blah. But $500. So if you're selling a $500 program and you want to make $50,000, you're going to need 100 people to buy that program, right? Really easy math. So the question is, where do you find those 100 people? Online, of course, right? So let's just take a look at what it takes to sell 100 programs. So a lot of people these days are teaching webinar formulas where you host a webinar and you offer your program, people buy it, and then you're rich, right? Totally happens, by the way. And let's look at how it happens. So in order to have 100 people pay you $500, a typical webinar, actually a good webinar, converts at about 6%, maybe 10. 6 is about average for someone who knows what they're doing. So if your webinar converts at 6%, if 6% of your people is 100, then that means you need 1,666 people on your webinar. Now, they have to be on your webinar live. They have to actually listen to it long enough to hear the offer. Well, guess what? We're all really busy. Lots of people register and don't show up. So a typical show-up rate for a webinar these days is about 30%. You're doing actually pretty well if you can get 30% of the people who register to actually show up in your video. So what does that mean? That means you need 5,553 to register for your webinar, to have 1,600 of them hear your offer, okay? So great, so we just need 5,000 people. Before we needed 40, now we just need 5,000, no problem, right? Well, where do we find them? Well, guess what? You invite people to register via email, right? Online, maybe Facebook ads, but a lot of it is via email. You invite them to an opt-in page where they decide if they like your webinar or not. So a typical opt-in page, that page you see that says, would you like this thing, converts anywhere between 50 and 60%. Okay, that's a good opt-in page, 50 to 60%. It means they're qualified people coming to the page who want the thing. So we'll just use 55% from our math, okay? So if 55% of people opt in, that means you need 10,096 to see your opt-in page. 10,000. All right, so if you need 10,000 people to see your opt-in page, how many people do you need to get in front of who have the chance to click over to your opt-in page, right? Well, think about it. If you get an email, what are the chances that you click the link in the email? If you're mailing people, you're asking friends to mail people, A typical rate, and we won't go into open rates, click rates, all of that, but the percent of people who are going to read that email, actually open it, read it, click it, and get over to your page is about 5%. So what does that mean? How many people need to be invited in order to get 10,000 people to see your page? It's roughly 202,000 people need to be exposed to the opportunity. Now, here's what's great. There are definitely 201,000 people out there who would be interested in your thing, but do you know them right now, right? So many business owners get hung up because they are sitting at home creating their virtual course for $500, but it's going to take 100 people to buy it to have a $50,000 payday, which, by the way, then, that could, if your goal is 6 figures, that could be 6 months income, right? Or it might be a quarter income if your goal is 200,000, et cetera. Do you know 200,000 people, right? Do you have friends who have lists that are that size? The people who create these paydays and bigger paydays, right? They have those lists, they have those connections. You definitely want to build them. You definitely want to build them over time. This is when you really know your audience, when you really know how to market, to start to get some of these numbers, right? You have all the right copy, all of that. Now, if your head is swimming, just hearing me go through this, probably virtual may not be your answer, right? You really want to consider going to the in-person model for marketing yourself and marketing your services. There's a couple other reasons I want to share for this. The first is really think about how do you want to spend your time. In the in-person model, you spend your time talking with actual people, speaking in front of actual people, and marketing one thing per year. And it's really simple, and it's a great way to very quickly establish yourself as an expert and create solid income. Here, guess what you're spending your time doing? You are writing these emails. You are writing this opt-in page. You are writing reminder emails so that people don't miss that opportunity to register. You're reminding them, hey, you've got to show up to this email. You're spending your time thinking about what are the latest tips and tricks for getting people to show up. What kind of weird free stuff can I send them to get them to actually show up so they can hear my offer, so they have the chance to buy my $500 course, which, by the way, they're probably never going to finish. Okay? So this upsets me a little bit because I believe some of the greatest minds on our planet are spending their time figuring out, how to increase their click-through rates and how to, get people to buy something they're probably never going to engage in. And it breaks my heart just a little bit. So I want you just to consider, how do you want to spend your time? If this was not fun for you, you probably don't want to spend your time developing virtual programs. You'd probably much rather spend your time hosting small retreats where you get to show up and make a real impact with actual live human beings in a room who have committed to be there and change their lives. I know that that's the kind of person you are, that that's the kind of commitment that you have, is to make a real difference on the planet and in your life and business. So which is it going to be? In person or virtual entrepreneur? You completely get to decide. And I just request that you search your heart and make the decision that really works best for you. This is Darla LeDoux of Aligned Entrepreneurs, and have an amazing and profitable week.